Welcome to Eagles Canyon once again. Right now I have a passenger in my car. You can see there's a few wet spots on the racetrack here and there, but for the most part it was dry. It was a dry line and it was fairly grippy. So I'm following my buddy Brian. He's in a spec Boxster and I'm in a street 987 Boxster. He should be going faster than me in that car. He just, on the straights it's about the same speed, same power to weight ratio roughly, but my car is a lot heavier and it's a street car, so it just cannot carry as much speed in the turns. But right now you see he's completely offline. He should be on the right side of the track. So I'm catching up to him. I don't know if he was still warming up and if he was trying to make some adjustments to his car. So he wasn't too focused on the driving yet. I know he was there to test and tune the car for a spec Boxster race. So see right there, he knows his car and my car have about the same amount of power. So in order to allow me to pass him more easily, he pulled offline so that I could have my line out and didn't have to drive around him. I was able to just drive in a straight line and get by him a little bit faster. So that was really nice of him. If you're a little bit more advanced, that's the kind of thing that you might want to do when you give a pass to someone, as opposed to always keeping the race line for yourself and then pointing out. You want to be predictable, so you stay on the race line and then you point for somebody else to pass. So if you're a beginner, intermediate, I would recommend generally stick to the line, but once you get a little bit more advanced, it's nice if you recognize the car behind you is either slower or just as fast as you are, then whereas your car is, then just pull offline, let them by. It's faster, easier for them to catch up. Instead of just lifting and having them go around, it actually is better flow of traffic. So anyway, he's behind me right now. We've completed a lap. Like I said, I have a passenger in the car, so I'm also a little bit, probably a little bit slower. You're always a little bit slow when you have a passenger in the car. But you can see right there a little puddle, so you can tell the track was a little bit damp still. But right there, I let him by. And it was a little bit of a late pass, but Brian and I know each other and we don't have any problems. We both race cars, so we don't have any problems passing in turns or anything like that. But the rules at this event were pass only in the straight line, so it was the end of the straightaway, but it was still in the straightaway, so it worked. And I actually didn't pull offline because it was such a short straightaway, so I just had him take the inside in the turn. So now I'm trying to see if I can follow him. Like I said, he should be pulling away from me because it's a race car. It should be faster in the turn. So if you watch every time we're in a turn or in a sequence of turns, you should notice him pulling away, and you did just there. So no, the spec Boxsters are just really, really good cars. Really fun to drive, and it's a very competitive field. In fact, if you're looking for a race car, a particular class that you want to get into to race, Miatas are very popular. The spec Miatas, they're on the cheaper side. The spec Boxsters, they are more expensive, but they're not that expensive, and they've got more power. They're mid-engine. They're a step above for sure. You still got plenty of competition, like I was saying, and so I actually would really recommend to someone to look into spec Boxsters. Now there are plenty of other options out there, but to me, it's a really cheap mid-engine platform. It's probably the cheapest mid-engine platform you can find, and they are so much fun to drive. Well, surprisingly, I'm still keeping up with Brian. I bet it's because he's doing test and tune, and so he's not driving the car 100%. But that was pretty good to see. So now you see the same car in front of me again, and that's actually Carl, Brian's dad, who's driving it, and that's a different event a month later. So this weekend you can see so the track just went green right now if you notice the flag, but if you notice also it's actually dry, so you don't have all the wet spots. There was a pretty bad wet spot down there, so we're in turn 4 right now, going downhill, and right there in the braking zone, in the previous 2 laps, right there was a huge puddle there, which I actually got loose on the braking once on the first time I came around. So it's not there. It's a different event, if you're wondering. So that's just out of the way. No need to comment and say, oh, the track looks different suddenly. But Carl is also a pretty good coach and a pretty good driver. And so I think they were also doing test and tune again this weekend. But right now I want to show how to behave in traffic. So we have a Corvette in front of us. Now the Corvette was able to pass Miata. The Miata, I mean, I feel like he could have given the passes a little bit earlier in the straight, but you know, we all managed to pass before the braking zone pretty much. So no big deal there. But yeah, just pay attention to how we're driving in traffic. So we're behind a Corvette. It's a much higher horsepower car. Again, you know, I'm in a 987 Boxster, and this is a spec Boxster in front of me. So not that much power, and the Corvette, we're still all over it. And you know, at the end of the day, it probably comes down possibly a bit to the handling, but mostly to the driver in this case. And yeah, you can see his line is just not great. So, but he is much faster than us. So I see now, right now we got him straight away, he pulls away. And so he should have given a pass, but he just pulled away. So now we're back right on his rear bumper, both of us are. And now we're really showing him, hey, we're faster than you. So yeah, there you go, he just gave us the pass because we were so close. But see, even then he's accelerating, we can't pass. So you see, he had to realize that we were much slower and slow down so that we could actually get by. But you know, we got by. So Carl is a little bit offline here. I don't know if it's the fact that it was a late pass put him a little bit off. I'm pointing it out because, you know, I also want to show the race line with these videos. So if you're watching to learn the track, I want you to know what's the right line and what's not the right line. Not to knock on Carl at all. He's a very good driver. So yeah, now we're pulling up to another car. And we're moving pretty good. I mean, I'm actually surprised. I'm sticking with him pretty well. I do not have a passenger in the car this time. So Carl and I have caught up to a spec Miata again, but it was too late. You know, we caught up to him at the end of the straight. He didn't have time to let us by. So you know, this event is passing only in the straights. So we're just being patient, driving our lines, focusing on our lines. And actually, right there, he was a little bit. He missed the apex by like a foot or so. And to me, you know, you will miss apexes, you know, once in a while. But to me, when you're behind someone and you're driving slower than you can, then that's when you have to work on the extra precise, so that you still get advantage of that. Even though you're driving more slowly, be very accurate with your line so you can practice it. Then when you come back the next lap around with more speed, then you can actually you know your marks. You know where you want it to be, and hopefully it helps you get that memory and get that right. But see, that's much better from the last time, and he's much closer to the apexes, and you can see you can carry a decent bit of speed in the turns. I'm still not completely losing him, or he's not completely losing me, I should say. But you know, watch this. I mean, you can just tell he can carry more speed in the turns. Spec Boxsters are great. Once again, I recommend. They're such fun cars. But hey, I'm going to do my best to keep up with him. It's part of the game, and I'm there to push myself as well. And I want to see if I can keep up for as long as possible. So I'm doing my best. tell it's just getting harder and harder to keep up. The spec Boxster can just carry much more speed in the turn, so every time we hit a turn, he inches forward, and I say inches, but you know it's probably several feet every time. So it's tough. If he doesn't make a mistake, you know I'm not going to be there. So and Carl's not going to make mistakes turn after turn. You know, he might make one here or there, but that's it. So but you know, still I'm trying to do my best. He got the pass on this Mustang. I was too far behind. I couldn't get the pass. So I'm just going to be patient. Hope I get it there in the uphill. That being said, if I have to get around him, it's going to be difficult unless he really slows down, which he did. Did you see that? He actually activated the brakes there way early to let me by. So that was really cool of him. I think he knew that the two of us in Boxsters were following each other, so he really did his best to let me by so I could try to stay with Carl. But you know, I'm not saying I'm going to, but it was nice of him to do that. If you've watched my videos on the new track, the 2.7, right here we stay on the left side of the track, and then there's a right-hander that goes over to this hill to the right. It leads to an awesome series of turns. Before we just had a straightaway or hairpin or straightaway. Now we have all these turns that lead back into this turn, which used to be turn 6. So much more fun now with the addition. And Carl lets me by. I think he probably had figured out what he was testing and tuning. Maybe he wanted to follow my line, see what I was doing also, out of curiosity, so he let me by. Alright, so this is a new day at Eagles Canyon, and then now that's again a month later, and I'm following a GT3, a 997 GT3. I'm in a 987 Boxster still, same car, and we can see there's a supercharged Lotus Elise in front of it, in front of the GT3. So it's going to be a lot of passing going on here. People need to find their speeds and find their spots within this little line of cars that we formed. To the left. Did you see those cones? Yeah, there was I don't know if it was a crack or water or something on the track, but they coned it off. So when you get on the straight, it's right in your line. So you have to shift over to the center of the road. And so when that Boxster, right, that's a 986. I want to say it's a Boxster S. When that car led the Lotus Elise by, you would have expected the Elise to be somewhat around the center of the track, maybe a little bit towards the left, but it actually had to go quite a ways around towards the left edge of the track because of those cones in the middle there. And I think because of that, it also made it harder to give more than one pass because the track became so much narrower there. But it looks like he's letting that GT3 by, but I don't see a passing signal for myself, and it's getting too late. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait until after this turn, and that's okay, no problem. And you can tell he was trying to go fast, not to hold me back, and then he just gave me the pass. He stayed offline so I could come back to the left, which was great because I have less power than he has. And now I'm gonna see if I can catch back up with the GT3 and maybe the Lotus Elise and see how that goes. It is always fun to me driving with traffic, with other people, ideally fairly fast cars, so they can really motivate you. You know, they can be like the carrot that you want to follow and that you want to catch, and it helps you drive faster sometimes just to have people to catch up. So right now, the fact that they got a little bit of a lead on me, I'm really trying to drive really well. I'm really paying attention to what I'm doing so that I don't make any mistakes. So that I can inch my way forward and closer to them. Some of you may have noticed I extended my stay on the left side of the track, and that's because I was letting this 996 turbo get by. Really cool car, very powerful. much more powerful than my car. I wish I had that kind of power. But do you see that? How fast it just shot away from me? It even caught up to the GT3 pretty easily. But I mean, turbos are known to be much faster than GT3s in a straight line, so that's no surprise there. And if I recall correctly, this one was actually tuned as well, so it was pretty fast. But the GT3 should be a much faster car on the racetrack, especially in the turns. So, but I mean, I know, like, say on a 991, I have a friend who had a Turbo S, and he also had and actually we're gonna see him in the car he used to have at some point in this video, in a GT3 RS. But he had a 991 GT3, and he had a 991 GT3 RS, and he had a 991 Turbo S. And he was the fastest in the Turbo S because it just has so much more power and pull coming out of the turns. But anyway, trying to follow the Turbo, it actually brought me closer to the GT3, so I was able to now pass the GT3. And I'm trying to see if I can hang with the Turbo for a little bit, but I kind of slid coming into there with a little bit too much speed, so I kind of lost him, and then he just disappears in the straights. It's just nothing I can do there. Here he is, my buddy KY, the one who had the 991 Turbo S and the GT3 RS, who was able to put down much faster lap times in the Turbo S. That's his 997 facelifted, so 997/2 GT3 RS. It had all the GMG upgrades that you can have. Such a good car. He also got a really good deal on it. It's just an amazing car. I'm sure he wishes he still had it. I wish I was the guy who took it off his hands. It's such a nice car. Well, I finally caught up to the Lotus Exige, the supercharged Lotus Exige, driven by Carol. She's a fast driver, and that little car is really light with the supercharger, very powerful, handles great. Lotus makes cars that are so desirable for this type of event, actually. If you're looking for not a race car but just a track car, take a serious look at Lotus. Still following KY right now, but look, you see how far ahead he's gotten, so he's created a little bit of a gap between him and me. But now, watch, you see that smoke? And now watch all this debris on the track. And see where KY is? Now he's just in front of me. Yeah, he put 2 wheels off and threw a bunch of dirt on the track. And that's the kind of thing that will happen. And then, you know, if you don't pay attention, you come around the next lap, there are other people on the track with you. Someone put some dirt, some debris. It can get slippery. You gotta watch for it, so you gotta always be ready for that. You know, we have corner stations that will flag stuff if they see it, but it may not always catch it, always be there, or flag on time. I'm so jealous of his car. This is what one straightaway and a short straightaway does. Like instantly, he just propelled himself in the distance. But it's just such a good car. It's manual. It's just a great car. Messed up this entry. I was trying to go too fast to try to somehow stay with him, but it's just not happening. So I actually went slower by making this mistake. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave comments if you would like me to describe the race line, to give you tips on any particular aspect of driving. Anything you would like for me to share, please let me know. I can try to make a video on that specific topic. But for the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, please subscribe.